cheers. Enjoy this. Yes, good afternoon, good evening. Another new week begins. Welcome back to the channel with me, Disco, sat in front of another live in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar where I'm still ambitiously calling the Disco Arms. Welcome along. I hope you had a good start to the week and an even better weekend. Did you enjoy the sunshine? Lovely drop of sun. Stood outside in most of that over the weekend. I think I caught a little bit of it as well, feeling a little bit wobbly last night, or that may have been due to the half a dozen beers because I wasn't technically working yesterday. I went in to do the quiz. So I had a few beers, calm the old nerves, even though it was a really enjoyable and fun quiz. I might bring that to the show at some point if anybody fancies a little quiz question and some general stupidity over a beer. Talking of beers, ambitiously, got a bunch of unboxings to do today, mainly because didn't quite get round to doing it last week when these boxes came in. Two of them arrived on Friday afternoon, so I didn't really get the chance on one. I didn't even know it was turning up. More about that later. Anyway, thanks for popping in. If you are in, as always, Mr. Wilson, thanks very much. Good to see you as ever. What's in your glass on this Monday evening? I've got an unboxing, but I'm going to ambitiously again. Camera's paused. Never mind. I'm going to ambitiously unbox and then drink one of the beers. I say unboxing. I mean, they've been sitting in the cupboard, so they've kind of settled. They haven't arrived today. They arrived last week, so I have technically unboxed them already. And if, like Mr. Wilson, you follow us over on the Instagram, check that out. You will have already seen the unboxing pictures because I did them just to bash something up on there on Instagram because it was a little bit light, really, last week. In fact, the second box actually came in a week before on the Friday. But yeah, so let's get the first box open and underway. So also another Phantom beer, Sludge. That's the what's his name, Stout, isn't it? I did the Sludge a few weeks back live on here. Can't remember what show that was now. God, idea. They've been sliding through. One number 67. Can you believe? I still can't get this camera to go properly. That's not going to work. Well, that'll have to do, and it looks all wonky, but what the hey. Little one, first of all. Unmarked box. It's come all the way down from, in fact, I don't know, somewhere in Yorkshire, from a beer shop called Leftfield Beers. A bit of a bottle shop and can shop that I've been aware of for quite some time. And I've just never quite got around to getting anything in from them. Mainly because I just tend to go to Trembling Madness. Leftfield, to me, always on the face of it anyway, seems to be a bit more expensive. Mainly a bunch of your big hoppy pails and a lot of import stuff. I mean, Trembling Madness does that as well, but looking at it, I just never sort of quite got around to pulling the trigger. But it is, yep, it's better in can than I recall. Oh, nice. You see, I've had it on keg as well. Yeah, so I'm just going to get the beers out, and then I'm going to drink one of them first of all if I get the right one. As you see, I've already unboxed them, so I'm not going to do all that. Now, the one I've selected, as you've probably seen from the thumbnail, is this interesting little number from a brewery I don't know how many people have ever heard of really before. It's a brewery from the Czech Republic. They're called Pivovar Vik. Pivovar being brewery, of course, in Czech. So the brewery is called Vik, V-I-K, and this is a Gooseberry Devil, 4.5%. A Gooseberry Gose. Hence my little tagline of today's thing about doing a transatlantic, trans-Pacific, a transcontinental, continent here being Europe, of course. And yeah, this one is a tasty little number. Let me get it out into the glass and then we'll have a little quick chat about it. In fact, the glass I've got, this is a rare event for me. Got a Pivovar Vik glass. Rare that I get branded together beer and glass. Happens occasionally, I must admit, but mainly when I'm doing, well, I can't even do the Turning Point beers anymore because I broke that one. Mainly when I'm doing my Coles beers now and at my Coles glass. But yeah, so Gooseberry Gose. Gooseberry naturally forms, I guess, into a kind of sour beer. And if I imagine, yes, photo. Thank you. Looks beautiful in the glass. Really pillowy, soft, fluffy, almost kind of head. Yeah, nice kind of pale, slightly. I'm quite sure it's kind of green tinged like a gooseberry, but there it is. Looks even better on camera. Looks like almost like a double IPA on camera. On the phone, anyway. Yep, the can wrap's harder to expose on that one, funnily enough. See how that comes out? Oh, that's better. Yeah, that kind of really soft pink can wrap. Looks nice. That head has dissipated since I've been taking the photo, but it should be alright on there. But yeah, 4.5%. Nice little a fruity number to start off with. Let's do the review, and then we'll come back to the whys and wherefores. Slightly fruity on the nose, but also kind of. There's definitely that kind of slightly wheaty, hoppy initial aroma. Yeah, slightly wheaty, malty kind of thing going on. Not massively like sweet. I think there's a bit of salt in there. As I said before, I have had this one before, so let's see what I get on this time. It was in can last time. I don't think it was on draft. Or was it? Anyway, I'll come into that. Right, let me check. So yeah, Gooseberry Gose 4.5%. Cheers, and happy damn Monday. Oh, yeah, cheers. That, oh wow, that is one of the most interesting Goses I've had for a long time. Gose is a goose, whatever you call it. Definitely not goose. Somebody said to me at the weekend. Yeah, a big tartness and sourness on the mouthfeel. A little bit of fruitiness. I've not eaten gooseberries. We used to have a bush in the garden, but yeah, so kind of that kind of fruitiness, kind of nice ripe gooseberries, but also that tartness. But really pillowy on the mouthful, really kind of soft, kind of oatiness almost. I'm not even going to try and read the can because I think it will probably all be in Czech. And my Czech doesn't extend much more over than Pivovar, Pivo, and the Bier and Nazdroví. That's what I should have said. Oh no, yeah, they are in English, to be fair. So obviously it says, oh, water, hops, coriander, barley, wheat, and gooseberry. Let's see what the hops are, but you don't really need too much for the Gose. Best before 1st of July 2025. Being that I've all got all these beers in fresh, I think it's going to be an all fresh lineup today. I'd be very surprised if I got an out of date or near out of date can, but you never know. Yeah, definitely have that nice pillowy head that's now dissipated, but then you kind of expect that on a Gose, really. There's a very, very thin layer of head development there. Looks like a nice little bit of sticking to the glass. Yeah, that's where connection to a dipper really ends. Like I say, there's that kind of wheaty note in there. So it's got some bulk on the body. It's got some good maltiness, but then that sour kicks in. The fruit comes across. It's kind of layered, multi-layered is what I was looking for there. And then there is a definite salinity to it, which is a thing with the Gose, like an old German style of beer, where the water had the natural salinity and was it Baden-Baden, where the like natural sodium baths or whatever, the where the water was naturally a bit saline. So I guess they put the fruit in to combat that rather than making any other adjustments to the water profile, which is an often underlooked thing in beer. You don't always realise that you put something in to change the water profile, whether it's too soft, whether it's too hard, too much, calcium or whatever in it. So it's got that, and also that coriander in there gives it that savouriness against the salt. You can kind of just about taste it. There is a kind of sort of herbiness to it. It kind of bounces off the fruit note. There is a bit of sweetness in there, but it's definitely curbed by the savoury and kind of saltiness. Really nice. Palate cleansing, refreshing. I often start off with Goses because I'm working up either up the ABV, unless you've got an Imperial Gose, it tends to be a little bit lower, and also work up from light to dark, and they do tend to be a little bit lighter. So yeah, like I say, I've had this one before. Let's have a quick look, because I see what I said, having just on first impressions. I thought I'd done this on video because I did a live. First met the guys from Pivovar Vic in the Czech Republic, or rather on Czech Republic soil, because I popped over to the Czech embassy over in Notting Hill in London for a nice little day out, nice little touch. Some friends of mine at the Czech Beer fan club managed to get some tickets, so we popped over. Yeah. Live directly on YouTube, but here we go. Mazda V. One of the most interesting of embassies architecturally.
This is good.
Oh boy, we love going there.
Perfectly smooth, really fruity. Lots of red berry notes going on there. That is not what you expect from a Czech beer. That is beautiful. Beautiful Bohemia region glass. I've got to go and give it back, but he has loaned it to me for Bohemia region. So fair play. Yeah, so we are here. I'm technically on Czech Republic soil. I'm in the Czech Republic, which is the Czech embassy in Notting Hill in West London. Cycled all the way over here. I was going to do a video called Cycling to the Czech Republic. I was a bit late at brewery business, and I just got over it and had a beer. So thank you to everybody for watching. Anybody like know anything about Czech beer? What do you want to say about Czech beer? I'm just going to ramble on because Czech beer is good.
Well, we don't need to hear all of that. I'll put the link up the top there, and you can always watch that afterwards if you want. But yeah, I wouldn't say I know a lot about Czech beer, although I've been a couple of times, and I've drunk quite a lot of Czech beer, and obviously that's the third time I think I've been to that particular event on now in September. Hopefully go again this year. Something to look forward to if I can get a ticket again, and go and chat to a bunch of Czech brewers and try their beer. So yeah, I had this one there. I thought I'd videoed it, but that one there was a cherry sour, I think, from a different brewery, although that did look really nice. And again, Czech beers are kind of fairly traditional. They specialize in kind of Pilsner lagers and stuff like that, and also obviously do a good line in dark lagers. But there's a whole bunch of craft breweries in Czech Republic now. Czechia, they call it now. I'll still call it Czech Republic. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of craft breweries sprung up there doing kind of slightly different things. It's probably more natural to have a Gose there because there's a lot of German and Czech collaborations anyway. The Germans came over, showed the Czechs how to do it, and that's how we got Pilsner Lager from the Czech Republic back in the day. So Gose is the next most probably kind of traditional one you might expect anyway. Yeah, so I tried this one. Let's have a quick check, see what I said about it back then, because again, did the live reviews over on Instagram. And yeah, there it is. Once again, there we see actually that kind of soft, pillowy head, very similar in colour. I've got it down there as 4.9%. That's weird because I said 4.5. They mostly don't talk about ABVs that much. Oh no, here we go. They do, because they go in degrees. They talk about Plato, and that confuses me. This is 15 degree, I believe. But no, it does say on the can 4.5%. So I think that was actually on tap at 4.9. Maybe they calmed it down a little bit. But I did say there, Modern Czech Brewery doing a German style Gose. Really nice fruit notes, true, smooth, and very pleasant gooseberry flavour with a sherbety sparkle. Not picking up sherbet so much, but there's definitely that kind of sort of tart, fruity end of sherbet, that little kind of zip, that little zing of tartness. So not so much on the sparkle on the can, maybe. Doesn't suffer for it. It's not a problem. I like that sherbety sparkle. I was talking about it last week on those green beers, wasn't I? Tart but measured, creamy and very drinkable and refreshing. Are really nice. I didn't do it at the time. I did it afterwards. So maybe I've got that 4.9% wrong. But there we go. Yeah, it looks lovely in the glass there too. Big love to the guys from, and there's some of the other ones there. Look, only actually got 5 beers posted. I didn't actually post the ones I don't think about on that video. But yeah, really good. Czech hospitality as always. Mr. B, talking about hospitality, welcome back into the Disco Arms, Mr. B. Thanks for popping in. Hope you got a beer in your glass. If not, on a school night, don't worry about it. Let me know what you're drinking. Are you joining me for a cheeky Monday beer? I do this because I'm not actually going to work tomorrow. I'm off. It's kind of my weekend, as I always say. Like, had a big weekend. Saturday and Sunday, slinging beers on the bar up at Pivovar and playing some pub games. Here's a good one for you, Dave Wilson and Mr. B. We didn't actually get them done when he was over the other day, but yeah, we got some pub and bar games going on now. 2 different types of Skittles, and apparently it's really kind of competitive in the Skittles. You know what I mean? There's different versions. Different counties have different rules, regulations, versions. Bar Skittles, table Skittles. Before you even get up into like 9 and 10 pin and all that kind of alley Skittles. But yeah, we got this like 9-pin tabletop Skittles with these big chunky cheeses that you throw, and that one on the pole where you swing it around and hit the Skittles over. And then we've got into a thing called Toads, which apparently is really rare. And there's only a couple of pubs. It was like old traditional pub game, mostly in Sussex. And yeah, my boss, he's a bit skillful in that. He made his own Toads table. It's like these little brass, almost like kind of cheeses, I suppose, little rounds but thinner. And it's basically just a box with a hole in it. You have to get it. It's like lead, so it sometimes bounces and sometimes it's soft. You have to get it through the hole. So we spent a lot of time last week doing that and over the weekend. And as I say, on Sunday I did the old pub quiz, which always goes down quite well. Talking of cheeses, did the cheese round. Cheese or MPs? Let me know if you want to bring that to me to bring that to the channel. Anybody fancy a quiz on the channel? I know I'm about 5 years too late. Everybody was doing quizzes on YouTube 5 years ago, and it seems to have died off now. But yeah, if anybody fancies it, I might do a little quiz one day. You wouldn't approve a glass of hot cacao, not cocoa. I always get confused. It's a healthier option, especially if there's a little bit of Bailey's in it. Of course, I would approve. And even if there isn't, no, it's fine. I do like a quiz. I'm actually better at compiling and doing quizzes than I'm remembering all the information to compete in them. But I will get back into that at some point. I used to get about 3 or 4 pub quizzes a week at one point, prior to pretty much 5 years ago. But there you go. Yeah, a lot of people in tonight, seems by the things. And if you are, let me know what you're drinking and what you want to see. Yeah, nice to read. Really enjoying this. Like nice little fruity number. So yeah, like I say, I picked this up from Leftfield Beer, mainly because I follow Pivovar, Vic, and I saw that they had this and another one that's coming out in a minute. So I went on to Leftfield. I said I've never got an order out of them before because I always thought it was a little bit more expensive, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Say compared to Trembling Madness, where I usually get bottle shop, unless I see a disco beer. And because I went on and looked for this, I found a disco beer. So yeah, so the other one from Pivovar Vic, let's do the actual unboxing, is this one. It is a beetroot imperial Gose. Now, that's probably fairly away from Czech beer, as you could imagine, except I imagine, I don't know, if I don't want to get me Eastern European assumptions mixed up, what they call stereotypes. I assume they eat a lot of beetroot. I've no idea. It's kind of Eastern European thing, isn't it? I don't eat a lot of beetroot anymore, but I'm partial to it. And if I see it in a beer, and I've already got one in, I remember a way back, I think it was before Christmas now, I did that McColl's one, the beetroot Bier de Garde. And then last week on the live, I unboxed that beetroot and chocolate cake from Barney's in Edinburgh. And because I was aware of that one, I was obviously going to get this one from Vic at Leftfield. A big old can, what are they, 460s, I think. Got a couple of them, obviously. So I'm not quite sure. I've also just seen New Bristol. I've got a beetroot and chocolate cake, and I've been trying to get to New Bristol for a long, long time. They've always had just too much good stuff, and you know what I mean, an order in about £100, and I'm like, I can't be doing that. So I've not avoided it. I just haven't been able to. I don't know if I can, but I kind of fancy doing a 3-way beetroot beer lineup. I did think about doing the McColl's Bier de Garde again, and the Gose and then the chocolate one, but I might have to do the Gose and 2 chocolate ones if I can pull the trigger some point this week, or find somewhere else to get New Bristol, because they either do 6 or 12 packs, and I don't need 12 more beers because look at all the beers this week. Anyway, moving swiftly on. What else did I get? So yeah, also picked up. So I basically got the disco beers and added some other stuff in. We'll do the disco beer at the end. Neon Raptor clusters, the Bailey's cream chocolate stout, Irish cream chocolate stout, not necessarily Bailey's, but Irish cream chocolate stout. That might be handy for next week. St. Patrick's Day on Monday. Next Monday. Yeah. So don't know whether I'll do a Monday club. I'm probably not going out for St. Patrick's Day, and I'm sure I've got another Irish beer in, so I might do a little bit of that. Beetroot news. I'm building a beetroot saison recipe, and I may add rhubarb. I want to use fresh from a berry market. Fresh beetroot and rhubarb. You're not too far away from the old rhubarb triangle, and I think they come out around about this time of year, don't they? The rhubarb, rhubarb and beetroot. I suppose yes, in a saison, both would work. I don't know if they both need to go together. I mean, it'd be very red, but I'm interested. That sounds interesting. Not a massive fan of saisons any more than I am sours and goses, but it's very interesting one. To a mastermind version like Slurpee. I am not going to be able to imitate Slurpee's game on that one. I did say, what a genius video that was. As always, Slurpee coming with some rare but regular quality put together videos. Absolute geniusness, to be fair. Yeah, the earthiness of beetroot and tartness of the rhubarb and a saison-y kind of tartness and sort of sourness as well. I like the idea. Saisons, I always look at. I like the idea because you've got a bit of like savoury in there as well. I don't always get on with them pretty well, but that's something different home brewing wise, isn't it? To be fair, again, I'm all up for that kind of thing. Absolutely stunk the brew house out last week by making a kimchi sour. So that stunk out the brewery for a couple of days. And probably still is actually in the fermenting room. But interesting kimchi as an ingredient. He has done it before. I only had the one bottle because I wasn't really sure. So I look forward to getting that in again. And also on tap this time. That'll be interesting. We put the tomato sour on tap this weekend. That went down, as always, 50-50. Some people were up for it and some people were like, nah, mate, turn that in. But yeah, tomato sour, kimchi sour. Come see us at Pivovar if you fancy a pint of that. Oh yeah, if you do, I'll try it. You don't have to, obviously. But fair play. So yeah, cheers as always. Good stuff. I always look forward to beer deliveries, and like I said, I got a few this week, and I've got another one coming tomorrow. Apparently, it's taken me a while to get it. More of the story on that one. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I picked up some random stuff. Pine Ridge. I thought they were American, but it turns out they're another German brewery. I didn't realise that. This was on discount. It was only 50p off, but 8% double IPA. The Glorious Gorilla, all their beers. I've got this nice branding, name, bright colours, and some random crazy kind of animal theme going on. So I thought, well, for £4.5, I'll pick that up. I thought it was American. Turns out it's German. No bother, doesn't matter. The other one I picked up, because I've been looking at this for a while. You can probably clearly see the branding of Overtone. And so it's called Gimme Some. Also, it's a green can, so I'm going to love it, aren't I? But it's an 8% dipper, and I wasn't sure the hop lineup on this one. But I got it in because I've obviously been chatting to the folks at a account called Ale and Audio. I don't know if anybody else has seen these guys. They do like an online radio station centered around music and beer. However they get to play the music, I don't know. Obviously not on YouTube. But it's a kind of podcast style thing. It's like well put together magazine style show centered around music. And then there's a few kind of verbal beer reviews. There's kind of a bunch of characters that it's a kind of co-op, kind of conglomerate kind of thing, based, I think, really in West Yorkshire, but I think they've got guys all over the place. Spenno, I don't know if you've seen Spenno over on YouTube. Spencer Arms, he does a bit for them. He started doing some reviews and stuff like that. I kind of, the last few weeks, they gave me a shout out. I was chatting to them. They gave me a shout out the other week, and I'd always pick a couple of songs during the week. They asked for like kind of song ideas, song choices. So I generally put something a bit random and a bit more, usually something 90s, something a bit indie, but some good bangers to get people going for the week. And they've been pretty kind and gave me a shout out. So they've been going about a year, but they've done this collab with Overtone. They've also just done another one with Bayonet Brewing to celebrate their year. This one's called Gimme Some. And I thought, I'm not sure about the hop lineup, but they were raving about it. So I'm not sure it's my thing, but I thought, well, whatever, give it a go. Do you know what I mean? Give those guys a shout out, doing some good works. Recent brews, I don't think you're a fan of American. Now, American browns I can manage. Red IPAs, because they're lesser known, I was interested but never really gravitate towards them, to be fair. American brown, as long as it's not too hoppy. Talking of which, so the reason generally for the order of this one, pulling the trigger from Leftfield, is I found another disco beer. Discotheque, cheating a little bit. It's not actually just something disco or disco something. But seeing as disco is a kind of word derivation of discotheque, I don't generally go for stuff that's like discovery or discount or something like that. It's got the letters in. It's actually got to have the word disco in it, because my proliferation of collecting beers with disco in the name to go into the disco collection. Well, here's another one. Comes once again out of Germany, brewery called, and this is my German. It's probably slightly better than my Czech, but still not that great. Wirsek. Wirsek. Again, I thought they were Czech or Polish at first, but I think they're over that kind of eastern end of it. Oh, yes, they're in Berlin, outside of Berlin. It's a 6.8% double dry hopped IPA, and as I said the other day, what my preference for double dropped IPA isn't, but it's got disco on it. So if I don't get to try them, I do start buying beers now because of content. I think that would make a great, interesting show. That would make it interesting to try it. And if it's a double dry hopped IPA or something, fine. And if it's got disco on the name, I'm probably buying it anyway. Heck, I even bought some cider the other week because it had disco in the name. Hey, disco beer. Don't know when the next disco day is going to be. I've only got 2 in for this one, and I still haven't done the last 3 videos for them yet. Got to try and find some time to edit those. Still didn't do that today. Hence why I'm doing it live, because I wouldn't have had time to neatly produce and polish 3 unboxing videos. Even if I'd done all this in one, I wouldn't be able to get it out. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's clever. Disco beat. Yeah. You've got me. You've got me now. You've sold. I'm sold, aren't I? Having just said I'll get anything in a disco beer. Now, that is very clever with a beetroot beer. I like that. I like that. I love a good beer pun when it comes to beer names. Yep, I'm all in for that, Mr. B. We will, I'll work something on that. Ooh. So yeah, that's my Leftfield Beer. Obviously got a couple of the Beet Street ones. Nice little order. Sits there over on Instagram in the proper unboxing video. So I don't know when I'm going to get round to actually doing all or any of these, but I said there's options. Like I say, next week is the St. Patrick's Day. Anybody doing anything for St. Patrick's Day, or is it worth doing a Monday club for St. Patrick's Day with some Irish beers? I probably need another one. I can't remember what the other one. I don't want to mug you into that. You don't have to do that, but it is a very, very good idea. Now it's come to you. Remember, look what happened when John got mugged into naming something a disco beer, but obviously different for you. But yeah. So you have to go catch you another day. Enjoy your beers. Non-real chocolate drink. Fair play, Mr. Wilson. Thanks for dropping in. You can always catch up with us afterwards if you want to see. But you've already seen what I'm doing for these because you've seen the Instagram post. But yeah, so cheers, Mr. Wilson. We'll see you maybe tomorrow if I just do a show tomorrow. And that went down really well. There's some juiciness, a little quite light as well. Ding ding. I love that glass. Ding ding. Beer number 2, please. Well, it will be in a minute once I just clear these away. So yeah, Leftfield Beers, easy to find. I don't put links up to external stuff, but I do talk about it. Just put Leftfield Beer into a search engine and you'll find they have a lot of good stuff, a fair amount of American import stuff, and it seems like a fair amount of stuff you might not see too much anywhere else. In fact, that one I think it's pretty much sold out at Overtone and everywhere else, so I was pleased to pick that one up. Yeah, I'm gonna put those straight up there. I haven't taken last week's down. That's gonna be difficult, so I'm going to put that up there because I want the space for the next lot of unboxings. Yeah, we'll put that one up there out of the way. You can't really see it from there now, but you know it's there because you've just watched me unbox it and drink it. So yeah, that's me Leftfield. So it came out straight out of Leftfield. Wasn't really expecting. I was trying not to buy more beer, but those things have to be done. Yeah, that was Gooseberry Devil 4.5%, Gooseberry Gose from Pivovar in the Czech Republic, and unboxing from Leftfield Beer up somewhere in Yorkshire, I think. Are they Leeds? I don't know. I should have checked, but there we go. Let's move on then to unboxing and beer number 2. I've been waffling on for far too long. This one, much bigger box. You can see I've been online. Yutoka. Yeah. So this is the Trans-Pacific unboxing, all the way across the Pacific Ocean, depending on which way you travel, to Japan. Something a little bit different. I know absolutely nothing about Japanese beer, but it does seem there's a kind of burgeoning craft beer thing going on over there. I should go and chat, actually. I need to go and chat to James at Rampart Line because he does a lot of Japanese beers, but he's now based in Hong Kong and frequents Japanese beer, nipping over to Japan and Hong Kong and Korea as well. A couple of weeks ago, there was a little kind of promotion going on, I think, over on Instagram, where I saw these beers and I had a quick look on the website of the beer shop. Oh, there's my Leftfield one. Yeah, I don't know. Quite a rangy kind of list. So I'll try and battle through this picture. Yeah, Yutoka Shop Online. They come out of, I think, Enfield in North London. So delivery was not too bad. A couple of days on a courier. Let's see what we got. Now, I've definitely unboxed this before because they were very, very well wrapped with some seriously heavy-duty bubble wrap. And as they were mostly bottles, I was quite pleased with that. Got some snack foods as well. So Yeah, no, absolutely nothing about any of these breweries. I've had obviously a brief look, so I don't know. I'm assuming these are all kind of small independent craft breweries. I don't know if they're owned by big conglomerates. If anybody does, do let me know. I'm assuming they're all good. This first one, and this is going to be beer number 2. Oh, let me do the thing. I forgot to do it on the first one. I shouldn't do this because it's a different. I'm doing it in a different format tonight than the usual ones. But beer number 2, please. I told you this was ambitious, didn't I? Far too ambitious. Camera works all to cock. But anyway, yeah, beer number 2 is a brewery called Coedo. Now, again, my pronunciation of Japanese is probably even worse than that of German and specifically Czech. A white label on that bottle means it's kind of not easy to see, but there we go. That's the kind of style they have. Nice, and I'd say a kind of traditional looking format, quite formal. But again, brewery logo, name, beer name, and beer style. This one is a Heffeweizen. So obviously, I don't know what traditional Japanese beer will look like, but there's these craft breweries that are giving it a go, and I've got a variety of different ones in here. Let's get this out into the glass first of all. And have a look if I haven't put my bottle opener on top of underneath something. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, 5.5% Hefeweizen. You know, I love a bit of Hefeweizen going on. Yeah, not easy to see, not heard of them. So I'm going to check them out. So I've got a couple of theirs alongside some cans. So let's get into the beer and see what we're talking about. I can't remember the bottle size. It's a bit bigger than 330. I think they're like 365s or something, but we'll have a look on the label in just a sec. Oh dear. Is the glass clean? Let me check. Yeah, just about. I'll be all right. Oh, it's quite dark going into the glass for a Heffeweizen. Not massive on the head development, but plenty of carbonation racing up the glass. It is quite dark there for a Heff, really. I wouldn't expect them to be much more straw-coloured, yellowy colour. But behind the camera, there is much more yellow in colour. I don't know how that's going to work. And Mr. Wilson is not here to remind me to take the photograph, so I'm going to have to do it myself. I think that's probably your job now, Mr. Rob. Forgotten already, you know. God, it's going well, isn't it? Right. Yeah, I'm going to put the light source down, which is the laptop. Closing it and shutting you all down, so I hope you're there when I get back. If anybody hasn't got a clue, has not seen me before and don't know what's going on, I do these photographs so I can post on Instagram tomorrow. It's all about content, isn't it? It's all good fun, but these lighting conditions are not helping. It's going to be all right in a couple of months when I've got some natural light. If I can get in a bit earlier, in front of the windows. Yeah, very difficult there. Let's go that way. Might be all right there. No. Yeah, don't know what the pronunciation is. I'm going to go with Coedo. Sounds about right. I forgot to do that last week, and I had to do it from the screenshot they're posting today. If anybody saw that on Instagram, I had to go with the screenshot. It didn't suffer too bad, but it didn't look exactly in focus properly as much as I wanted it. Anyway, see, slight lack of head development there. I didn't give it a particularly vigorous pour, but I wasn't shy about it either. So where are we? Yes, we're still there. Good. Yeah. So as Heffeweizens go, I don't know. There's still a lot of head development there, but looking a little lackluster. That might just be my pour there. That's a good point. Do you know what? I was trying to pinpoint it earlier. Yeah, it does look a bit like a Chimay bottle, Belgian style beer. Let's do the beer review, and then I'll have a quick look what we can find. I like to do on the show, diving into the websites, but I've got a lot to unbox, so I might save that for the actual review of some of the other beers, because again, I've got something slightly unusual in there. Unless you saw the Instagram post unboxing, then you'll know what it is. But yeah, so cheers. I can't think what cheers is in Japanese, since I forgot the Czech one. I know that pretty well, but yeah, I have to find that out as well. Cheers. First dive in. Well, not the first dive into Japanese beer, but first dive into craft beer, because I've drunk a couple of Japanese beers a long, long time away. Cheers. Ooh, what a great aroma. Yeah, great Heffeweizen aroma. It's got that banging banana and a nice little savoury kind of clove and kind of a lot of sweetness as well. Yeah, it smells the part. Anyway, cheers. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Big on that yeasty kind of banana-y esters going on. A touch, not a massive bulk in the body. Sometimes, like I think the wheat beers, the Heffeweizen has got a good solid chunkiness on the body, like chewing banana. Feels a touch weak on the outer edges, a bit spring watery, a bit like kind of banana squash. That's not a thing. Again, I don't know anything about the brewery, whether they just, I don't know. Yeah, it feels like they've given it a good shout. There's a touch of slight tartness on the back end of it as well. Yeah, it feels, yeah, it's interesting. It's certainly really drinkable. It's a good shout at Hefeweizen, but there's something there that I'm not quite sure about. But maybe that's just because I don't know what they do. Shiro apparently is white in Japan. I should have looked that up. That's good info. So yeah, the beer name, I mean, white beer, Weiss beer, kind of makes sense. Very descriptive name. I like it. There's a little bit of salinity there going on now. There's a slight touch of balsamic salinity as well, which isn't necessarily terrible. It just sort of rounds off those kind of savoury, slightly fruity ester things going on. So it's not bad. Certainly very interesting first look at what is not a Japanese beer. It's just a Japanese brew. But that's the same with anybody. Anybody can brew a Hefeweizen, particularly wherever you are in the world. It doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, very interesting go at it. Let's have a quick look at everything else. Obviously, I picked up some noodles because they do snacks as well. Kimchi noodles, because I was talking about kimchi the other day. So see if they go with the beer. Some, what have we got? And these are like £1.50 or something. Don't know. So I just picked up some random like seaweed crackers and stuff like that. Love a bit of beer snacks. What do we have here? Asparagus shaped black sesame biscuits. No idea, but sound good. Some good bit of carbohydrate for the beer snacks. And then more packaging. Got all the packaging out of the way. Done it really well, to be fair. And then yeah, sweet potato snacks. I love a bit of sweet potato. Don't see them as a snack food that often in crisp form, but I do like the idea of that. So I picked that on up, and I'll tell you exactly why. Yeah, a couple of them going on, and then yeah, some other bottles. Also, Coedo's Shikoku, a black lager. Really nice label on that one. Kind of smart. And then I got some random soy sauce. I can't remember what that is. And then nicely packaged in the box with some padding. It was a bunch of cans. And I did kind of go a bit dark lager. I'm going to have to remember what these are, because obviously can't read the Japanese. They do put a label on it. I guess that's for us to read. Where did I put that? I told you this was too ambitious. Kanazawa Hayaku Mangoku Beer, dark ale. I guess that's the brewery name there then. Hayaku Kanazawa. Yeah, so a dark beer. That's before the 31st of August. Yeah, so Tazaki Foods, not Yutoka, based in Enfield, but also got a place in Dublin. Interesting stuff. No idea. I mean, obviously fairly fresh. That's got an August date on it. This one was a Belgian style white ale. I don't know too much about Belgium, but love a bit of that. There's the other dark ale, of course, and which was this one? This is Jinga Kojin beer. This is another wheat beer at 5.5% of Weizen, Heffeweizen, another Heffeweizen. I actually forgot about that. I should have done the two side by side, really. But there you go. Some interesting cat. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Completely missed that. Is that a cat image? Yeah, I think it is. They do love their cats in Japan, I believe. I'm not quite sure why the cat is blue and red and yellow, but there you go. Interesting one. I don't know whether or when I'll get around to doing the reviews on those, but I'm going to look at them in kind of somewhat more detail. But the main reason for this order, I have to say, is this beer. A very strange beer. The snacks are a bit of a clue. It is a sweet potato amber ale. Another one from Coedo. It's called Beniaka Imperial Sweet Potato Amber Ale. Super premium, a Japanese craft beer. I'm not sure if there's a translation thing there with Imperial, but I think it's only like 6%. Best before 2nd of May, so a bit of time. Yeah, absolutely sweet potato on the ingredients. So I was really interested in how that works. I love an unusual ingredient. 7%, so just about scraping Imperial. So 7 Imperial starts at 7.5. 333ml bottles, which obviously amuses me immensely. That it's that kind of nicely lined up thing. And again, nice bottle label. That red looks really kind of smart, slightly formal. But yeah, sweet potato. And we were talking about beetroot earlier, obviously, but sweet potato? What do you reckon? I don't know. Yes or no? Really interesting. Something a bit different. I love it. Something interesting, something different, an unusual kind of vegetable for the kind of starchy matter. There is one from St. Ives I want to get with a potato and rosemary beer. And I keep meaning to look into that and never quite pull the trigger. Come on, St. Ives, bring out a disco beer, I'll buy your beers. That's how it's probably going to work from now on. But yeah, so these Japanese beers, know very little about them. First showing is quite interesting with that Heffeweizen. It's not, with all the greatest respect, it's not the best Heffeweizen in the world, but it has travelled a long way and it sits pretty well. Tastes all right. It's got all those right flavours of those right notes of that banana esters, a kind of slightly touch of clovey spice, touch of like not quite cinnamon, but that kind of slight toffee note. There's something on the back end I'm not sure about, but it's not terrible. It's quite light, fruity, refreshing. Nice little beer. Yeah, jolly good. Looking forward to sort of looking into the other ones as well. See what I can find. It kind of, when you don't know anything about the beers, I mean, like British beers, I've generally heard of the breweries or whatever, and I can see, I roughly know what I'm getting. You're roughly on the right track I'm no expert, but I've been drinking beers a few years, so I roughly know what I'm going to like. With these ones, I've really no idea. I went with the dark lagers because the darker beers, just because I don't quite see enough of them. But then I got the Hefeweizens in because there was a bunch of IPAs on the website. Again, look at the website. Yutoka Shop Online. I kind of run out of time, but this is basically, there's a bunch of other stuff in there. There's a whole bunch of IPAs and pale ales on there as well. So, not that I gave them a swerve. I just like pick up something I can tolerate. Sounds going to be interesting. Take a bit of a risk, but take a risk on something I know I'm going to be okay with. Yeah, that one looks really good. I like those Coedo. I was going to find out how to pronounce it properly, but yeah, sweet potato amber ale. Looking forward to somehow at some point, as soon as I can. Either one alive. I don't necessarily want to do them all together if I can help it. But I'm not struggling for content ideas. I'm just struggling to get content out because, real life and stuff like that, isn't it? Hefeweizens can be not funny, but not everybody likes that kind of banana-y, fruity, savoury note. But because without actually having any adjuncts in it, it's just off the yeast, isn't it? But I always find Hefeweizens just got a bit more about them, a bit more body, a bit more flavour, something more to talk about. Right, I'm going to knock that one back and get onto the big... Is it the big show? I don't know. You tell me. Cheers. Right. Yeah. So, on to beer number 3, please. Well, beer unboxing number 3. Again, this one I really didn't need to do. This one is... I joked on its cam the other day, some proper dodgy geezer off of... Oh, I can't put that up there, can I? Put it over there, should be right. Yeah, some right dodgy geezer off of YouTube mugged me into buying these beers. You've probably seen the box. It is Hackney Church Brewery. So I looked at it and ummed and ahed, and I thought there's a lot. And I did this before. I looked at the website and there was a lot of good beers on there, almost too many, and I couldn't decide which ones not to get. So this time I thought I'd do it. Just, because there was a lot of excitement about the re-release of these certain cans. So I'll rush through this one kind of quick, if I can. Well, let's go for it. It's Hackney Church. I'll do the drink along when I can find the cans. I can't remember where it was. Right, so the first one out is a beer called Weeterfix. Another wheat IPA, very wheat heavy this week. On these orders, I saw a couple of people do this. I saw Spenno do it, and I saw Paul's beer reviews. This one, he kind of raved about this one. So I thought, well, it looks quite good on there. I like the imagery. I like the can. Picked up a couple of them. So being that there's wheat beers and all, no. So I've got plenty of wheat beers in. So I thought that's another lineup to do. Also, I've been doing a lot of yellow cans, so that's another yellow can idea, isn't it? I'm not sure I like the kind of the rough and that kind of rough kind of thing going on, but it's probably better for photography. Heller's Lager, easy thing. That's now sold out on the website I saw earlier. Like the idea of that. Also a Kirschen beer, a Marzen, however you want to pronounce it. Well, here we go. That's the big show. Agadudu 2, they've called it, because they brought it out last year. Pineapple Weizenbock. I missed out on the cans last year because, again, couldn't quite decide which ones not to get or whether to get the whole lot. So I ended up missing out. It's a collab of sorts, although they did go down there this year between Paul and Michelle Rate My Beer and some bloke called Real Ale Craft Beer. Anybody heard of them? But yeah. So yeah, Simon Real Ale Craft Beer went over to Hackney Church for the brew and I believe the launch and stuff like that. Got a couple of those in. Actually, I did have it on. I did have it on draft last year at a beer festival, tiny beer festival down in Ealing that Hackney Church attended. Really good chat to the lads that on the stall there at Hackney Church, and tried a pint of that first off, 8.4%. Supposed to be working, but don't worry about that. Got a couple of those. Because they had a beer called the Pilgrim, and I keep doing a lot of football related, especially Plymouth Argyle, who are known as the Pilgrims, of course. So it's a hazy IPA. Not sure about the hop lineup, but got a couple of them just purely for the content, of course, because I like talking about, beer names, how I get not mugged into, but happily buy beers. It's called the Pilgrim, so that'll be some Argyle content at some point. I've got St Clement's, their wheat beer, which I'm hoping is kind of got some citrus vibe going on about it. It's unusual. And the one I put on the thumbnail, I was actually going to drink, and I meant to get that out first, and I got the wrong end of the box. It's called Tipsy Bishop, and hence the tagline, Transatlantic Golden Ale. Again, let's get in a glass and have a quick look. We're going to go over that, bang over the hour, but I always normally do anyway. 440ml cans, back to the normal. Great sound going into the glass. Quite light on there. Lots of carbonation going on. Good head development. Yeah, lots of carbonation racing up the glass there. Much darker on the camera. Therefore, some good head development. Let's get the photograph on that quickly. So yeah, it looks good in the glass. I like the can design. I was trying to work out who that reminded me of, and I've come to the conclusion it looks, with my bad eyesight, a bit like Richard Stilgo. Anybody remember Richard Stilgo? And I believe he is still going. Still going on. Although probably somewhat retired now. Yeah, I think it's just a beard. Only 4.5%, but looks good. Photographs reasonably well, actually. And again, that can design, that kind of matted, raised artwork makes it. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yep, gone out of focus. Wheels go out of focus. And it starts off really well, and then in the morning when I look at it again, it's all. Excuse me. Right, there we go. We're back. Had it last year. It was a good beer. Brewed my own. Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, actually, I'd forgotten about that. I remember you talking about that one. Putting pineapple in a Weizenbock is mental, isn't it? Because as I was saying about the wheat beer, like Germans don't generally mess around with their beers and put stuff in. No more so than the Czechs, and yet I'm drinking Gooseberry and hopefully beetroot Gose. But why not? I'm all for it. And yes, I thought it was quite nice, quite refreshing. It was a summer's day. So although we've had a bit of sun in the last couple of weeks, we're still kind of back in the winter. So we'll see how it transfers to a slightly more winter environment. Kind of not really golden, quite golden for me. It's more kind of straw coloured. But yeah, head retention is good. Looks really dark golden amber almost on camera. Much lighter from back here. Yeah, it depends on the light. It's really weird. That kind of changes. Over here, it's kind of golden, and then if you look behind it with the light, it definitely is a kind of orangey, kind of dark golden colour. A fair bit of citrus on the nose for me, which is good. When it says Transatlantic, I'm thinking American hops. We'll have a look in a minute. Let's get the review done first of all. So yeah, cheers everyone. Everybody at Hackney Church. Rate my beer on Real Ale Craft Beer. For that, let's see what Hackney Church have done with a golden ale. Cheers. Yeah, that was one I was a bit gutted to have missed out on. I was considering that one, and I probably just should have done that and a couple of others. But yeah, I undernod too long, and then the Weizenbock went, and then the Squid Ink went as well. So I'm like, oh well, maybe, and it wasn't around this time. So that sounded really good because that is kind of unusual in it. Squid Ink. There's a couple of other breweries I've seen do it. Not sure about this one. Kind of, I don't know. Coming off the back of I'd say strong flavoured beers in the kind of the fruitiness. There's sort of nothing quite about this one. It's more basic, more robust. Fair enough. I didn't want to say bland. No, it's bland in comparison to the fact that I've had two essentially fruited beers, even though the last one wasn't fruited. It's more fruity flavour with a banana, but there was more about it. There's a little smattering of citrus now. Golden ales, I'm never sure about. I always think golden ales are kind of like the hoppier end of a pale ale, and more earthy hopped, more robust kind of body. And that's kind of what I'm getting. I want something. Yeah, I want something. Yeah, no, there's a little bit of earthiness now as well. I want something more. I want something more fruity, even if it's not got fruit in it. I want something. I don't mind a big, thick, kind of pillowy body. That makes it kind of easier. With this one, it's a bit more best bittery golden ale kind of pub pint. So yeah, I wouldn't say bland. There's plenty to find in there. It's interesting. Seasoning. Yeah, like I don't know. It's sort of. I'm gonna say it. Sorry, Hackney, but it's a bit Weatherspoonsy. To be honest, it's a sort of. You see some of those descriptions on Weatherspoons beers. It's like golden, bright, and hoppy. And this one isn't particularly hoppy, thankfully. There's no grapefruit to it, but it's got a sort of robust, earthy outer edge, which makes me think the hops are going to be something. I mean, there's no grapefruit, so it's not citra or something like that, but there's some kind of like. See, it says Transatlantic, so yeah, I don't know, but it makes me think of like, your Fuggles and your Goldens and your Kent beers that I used to eschew. Anyway, the write-up is kind of fun. It says 2 breweries walked into a bar, and out came Tipsy Bishop. This transatlantic golden ale is proof that good things happen when you mix tradition with a touch of transatlantic mischief. Yeah, well, you're going Enigma. I always forget which is one I'm thinking of. There's one I'm thinking of, and it'll probably be obvious when I say it, but a traditional British golden ale base, not my favourite, lays the perfect groundwork for Oregon-grown Chinook and Luminosa hops to show off their gloriously zesty, fruity, and herbal flavours. Yeah, that's the kind of earthy herbalness I'm thinking, I guess. Drink it when you're feeling saintly, or when you're not. Well, there you go. It's a great story, and I love the fact that, Chinook is, I think, one. Definitely a sea hop that kind of drags it towards earthiness, that herbal kind of earthiness. It's not gloriously zesty, nor particularly fruity, but there is a touch of lemon there. Not a sprinkle. It doesn't kind of sparkle lemon. Don't get me wrong. It's a good enough beer. It's not as bland as maybe my face was suggesting. That lemon comes in a little bit later. And there is a sort of slightly zesty citrusness to it. I'm sort of getting hay as well. I've just suddenly thought, yeah, that's why. We got one on the bar called Betcherman, which is a hay-infused golden ale with actual grass hay in it. These two aren't similar, but there is a suggestion of kind of sort of grassiness, hayiness, kind of. I love using Chinook in my IPAs. Yeah, Chinook is one I think I've tried before, and I've just like, yeah, easy to do, like harder to love kind of things, kind of deals. Again, not saying this is a bad beer. It's definitely not as bland as I was suggesting. I just can't find enough that I like. That's a personal thing. I always try and go, oh, it doesn't suit my palate, rather than this is a bad beer or anything like that. It isn't. It's got a bit bouncing around to it. Like I say, I don't particularly like that kind of earthy, herbal kind of, yeah, slightly grass hay kind of grassiness, slightly drying. Not quite dank, but more sort of drying, as if sort of tends to go towards Sabro a little bit. It's nicely done. And again, it's light enough, but it's not one I'm going to be smashing. And that's what I tend to like. That's what I tend to like say is like how I'm judging it is like, can I neck it? Because that's how I drink. You know, you see a lot of people like, try and tasters and little mouthfuls and sips. I'm like, no, bang it all in the glass and let me get it down. You know, not necessarily the faster the better, because some of the big beers you want to be sipping and savouring and stuff like that. But is there such thing as a bad? Oh yeah, there's some bad beers out there. That's one of the reasons I find this live thing difficult, because I generally buy beers I think I'm going to like, and occasionally, like last week when that. Then if you saw that lava lamp beer from Phantom, where all the fruit and the sediment was flying around a carbonation, it made for good content in my opinion. And actually the beer was okay once I'd strained it and soluted those lumps. I wouldn't say that was bad beer. It was a really nice drinking beer. I think there's some beers that are kind of slightly lazy. They've put something together because they need to put a beer out. Not saying about this one, obviously, but and when you get, like I say, there's Wetherspoons beers. When you get a touch of copper penny, a kind of robust, earthy, grassy, kind of zesty, grapefruity, a touch of toffee and toffee penny. I wouldn't say they were necessarily bad beers, but they weren't great often. This has that overtone of that, if you know what I mean. Kind of, just slightly warm. Slightly robustness. But look at the lacing on that. That's what I say. Must be a pretty decent beer, I think. Decent bit of lacing on the glass. You can see you can see the lines, not just lacing, but those lines. Well, I've been taking gulps. I've not been taking big gulps, which again suggests it's my palate that's the problem, not the beer. But there we go. I mean, perfectly good beer. It's not putting me off at all, especially to say I've had a couple of Hackney Church beers last year. Perfectly decent. There's a little bit of honey coming in there now. So the sweetness is kind of growing. Or is it more darker, like golden syrup or something like that? There's a little bit of sweetness on the lips now, which is good, which I like. There is a bit of lemon bustling about in the middle there. It's just that robust kind of earthiness at the beginning. It's not one I'd be smashing down. It's one I'm sort of struggling a little bit. Like I say, that lacing suggests it's perfectly decent, and it is decent. What am I saying? It's decent beer. Doesn't quite fit that opening note of kind of robust, kind of earthiness, touch of savoury. I always think of honey with a golden ale. I think it should, but I always think hoppy with golden ale. It's like a Belgian golden ale. It's kind of a hoppy Belgian blonde, probably is what I get confused with a little bit. I'd like to see honey more. There's that kind of slightly drying, not quite cloying, but not quite dank, but slightly cloying grapefruit pith end of citrus at the back end there now as well. So it goes through a few flavours. So it's definitely anything but bland, as my face first suggested in the opening sips. But it's not amazing. It's not my thing. I think that's what it is. It's not my thing. Perfectly decent beer, not my thing. Yeah, I want more. I want to find more flavours instantly. I want less dank, drying kind of cloyingness. Grapefruity up front, grapefruit pith, coconut husk, I would say. Is there a face developing there? Almost 2 eyes in the mouth, but there you go. Lovely artwork, all good. So yeah, the transatlantic note is about the American hops. Yeah, a little bit more breadiness now as well, kind of brown bready, a little bit of rye, perhaps. That contributes, I think, to that kind of roughness. Bit of brown bread crust. Get that grapefruit pith. Yeah, I think there's a sprinkle of lemon. Not quite the fleshy bit of grapefruit, but more, pithy note. So, okay, so maybe my palate's not completely off. It's just not really my thing. Not a problem. Plenty of other things to find. I put one on there just to see. I don't know. I just put one, just make it up. I had 10 beers. Didn't need to, but I thought, why not? Give it a go. Looks fun. Great beer. Just not particularly for my palate, but these things happen. You know what I mean? What can you do? Definitely anything but bland. Plenty of notes to find. An interesting little beer. Well, there we go. It's been an interesting show, slightly different, massive, mega beer unboxing. It's not that mega, I suppose, but it is, it's knocking on for 30 beers. No, 20 beers? Well, 20 beers. That I don't need because I've got far too many in the stash as it is. But what can you do? Nice little lineup. Interesting one to start with from the Czech Republic. Gooseberry Gose, really enjoyed that. Although gooseberry's not my favourite fruit, but they properly nicely balanced that tartness out with a bit of savoury from the salinity. Stuff like that. Interesting go at Heffeweizen from Japan. First look at Japanese craft beer from me with some interesting banana yeasty esters and something big and robust from over in East London. And that pretty much completes Monday Club for another week. Might do something tomorrow, I think. Plenty of cans to line up and thing. No, got more football on Wednesday, so depending what happens at work, I'm not sure if we're brewing again. I don't think I'll get back for a Wednesday pre-football stream, but I've got the Pilgrim, I've got a couple of green beers. May do that, not sure. If not, might do something Thursday because I've got a lot of beers to get through. But yeah, as ever, thanks for everybody who's popped in, especially, of course, Mr. B. Thanks for your info and jokes. And yeah, Disco Beat, I like that. Thanks to Mr. Wilson as ever for popping in. Anybody else who's popping in after the event, please do put some comments in the comments box down below, especially about Japanese beer or Czech beer. Let me know what I'm looking for. Comments really help the channel, as do clicking on the like and subscribe button. I know I get bored of saying that and I don't really have to, but I do anyway because it's kind of fun and what you're meant to do. And then, yeah, I will see you for the next one, whenever that may be, if it is as early as tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Have a good week otherwise. And we'll see you for the next one. Cheers and Nastrovi and whatever it is in Japan. I must find that one out. I could have looked that up, couldn't I? But let's keep it as short and sweet as possible with 3 good unboxings and 3 perfectly decent beers. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Cue the end screen. Ta-ra!